Hello, Ryan here, and welcome to Star Citizen Sunday. This is a weekly show which covers all of the news from the week just past. Be sure to subscribe if you like what you see, and let's get on with it. This week, Alpha 320 continues to roll out to the Evocati, with new features getting added. We eventually get to watch the Subdue and Recover mission that was built last week. Plus, we finally check in with the audio team to listen to their new tool Claudius in action. So this week's Inside Star Citizen was with the audio team updating us on the new audio tool called Claudius. Now this tool brings all of the audio functions within the game into one place so that sound designers can access everything they need, not having to jump from tool to tool and program to program to get the sounds sounding how they want them to. To improve the game's audio, they are looking into ways to meet the player's expectations of what is being heard, and the latest piece of tech they now have available is resonance, which enables other elements of the game to respond audibly when, say, a loud sound is made or an event which creates a high sound pressure occurs. For example, an explosion going off will cause other assets in the environment to reverberate and resonate as you would expect them to. Now this, they say, will create a much more realistic and immersive experience in all of the environments, and this tech simply allows them to create resonances around points in the world that should resonate to the game's events. And it also provides a very detailed amount of customization so that they can adjust all the various values they need. And all of this will make the props and environment around you feel connected and part of the world, reacting to what is happening, rather than them feeling like a static 2D prop that is just in the background. Now it also means the tool allows the designers to get their sounds in-game and working much quicker, so that the designers can look at an environment and then mark up the locations that they feel should have this resonance without having to put in code requests or go back and forth with other teams. Basically, the designers can achieve the actual sound that they want immediately. Now, like we hear here, with the sounds bouncing off of the locker doors or weapon firing bouncing off of nearby walls, plus weapons that fire next to a window with the windows resonating. I will leave that playing in the background for a second, but do bear in mind the audio will not be final, and most of these sounds will be either work in progress or placeholders while they actually prove out this tech. So they won't sound super accurate, but the technology allows them to be very efficient and detailed with their options. Now he also mentions that this resonance is hooked into the propagation tech, which allows sounds to realistically travel through corridors, hallways and doorways, and this resonance tech can also help the player to understand what is going on around them. For example, if an explosion happens in a room far away from where the player is, certain items close to the player will resonate slightly, but at what rate will those items resonate compared to the locations closer to the explosion? Like, for example, if a player is in the engineering section of a ship and can't see a direct hit from a missile striking the bridge, they will get some understanding of its general location and impact with how dramatic the resonance is. Now this is very cool, and I am so glad that they are addressing propagation as well, as not only will sounds travel through the environment, eventually reaching the player, but the resonance of objects close by can also provide a lot of information and context as to what is happening, plus create a greater sense of ambience. And in locations like derelict ships or space stations, for example, this is going to be quite incredible, especially if you are alone inside, or you think you're alone and you are hearing sounds reverberating through the hallways, or if a loud bang goes off, you may hear a little bit of a rumbling around you. Now they say that this also sits nicely with the physical audio system that handles the audio for all of the physicalized props in the verse, which I am sure goes hand in hand with this physical damage system as well, allowing all the materials to sound appropriate based on what is happening around them. He also says that there is a lot more to work out, like areas of a ship that have a constant resonance, like in an engine room with the constant whirring and droning of objects, so making sure that the resonance makes sense to the location and the environment. And this system also applies to other areas of the game, like a blast radius from an explosion affecting players' hearing, and these tools have been developed with creative freedom in mind and encourage experimentation. So it'll be exciting to see what comes beyond this from what we have already heard. Now this does go to show how important audio is in a game, not just from an immersive standpoint, but from an information standpoint, being equally important in my opinion, especially for a game like Star Citizen. Audio can provide a detailed report of what is happening, where something is happening, or how severe of an event is happening, and so much more, which, as I say, in a game like Star Citizen is so important for the players to have as much information as possible to create context and understanding so that we can make the decisions better. Now, I really loved this episode, and now Claudius sounds like it is in use. With all these new systems coming in, we should start to see quite a drastic uplift of all of the audio in game, not just in terms of better sounds or even resonance or propagation, but in consistency and bugginess, having less bugs, being able to fix things and find the issues quicker and fix them up, all of which are vital to making the gaming experience that a game like Star Citizen offers much better. Anyway, that was Inside Star Citizen. Let us move on. So also this week, Elliot Maltby from the mission team was back to finish off the Subdue and Recover mission that he created last week, this time playing through the mission. An interesting premise which will work even better when they actually have restrain and capture the target options, dropping them off at the local bounty admin office. It certainly wasn't a smooth ride, it is very much like what we're experiencing in the PU, but it does show how quickly they can put together a mission like this with all of the hooks and assets that they have and then playtest it. As we know, the mission team have a lot of new content on the way, some of it rolling out in 320, which should offer a lot more range of missions, and as new features come online like restraining, they will also get hooked into the missions, giving us more option on how we play through them. And finally, there was a new Alpha 320 Evocati patch last week, which brought with it the new wheeled vehicle physics improvements and a large rebalance of AI ship difficulties, offering almost all current ships in the verse to be used by the NPCs, rather than the very restrictive, limited current choice. So great to see more features coming in for 320. I have covered this patch in a lot more detail that I will link below in the description, and of course, as new Evocati patches roll out, I will continue to create videos covering them. So that brings us to the end of the show. If you do enjoy my content, please consider subscribing and hitting that like button. Also, I am able to do this thanks to my very generous patrons and channel members. If you appreciate what I do and would like to help make it even better from as little as $1 a month, all of the links are provided below.